IWC have just released all their new watches for the year ahead, and in this video we're going to be breaking down exactly what they've released and everything that you need to know about each model. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always, and it's that time of year again. It's a very exciting time of year when all the new watch brands release all the new stuff. So let's crack in to exactly what IWC have released. So let's start with the only new release that isn't an Engineer model. Let's start with the Pilot's Watch Performance Chronograph 41mm. This watch comes in at 41mm in diameter, 14.6mm in thickness, comes in full 18 karat 5N gold, and it does have a rubber strap, but on the clasp of the rubber strap, you actually have a pin buckle in 18 karat 5N gold. The dial comes in black and the hands are gold plated. This watch is water resistant to 10 bar and has the caliber 69385 IWC manufactured movement, which has 46 hours of power. And I have to say, when I had this watch on and was trying on and getting some photos, the photos of the movement of this watch are just to die for. It kind of has a blackened tint to the sapphire crystal glass on the underbelly, and it just looks unbelievable on camera and in person. So interestingly enough, last year from IWC, we saw them really hone in on their movements, on their watchmaking. We saw them show us what they could do in terms of craftsmanship and with their movements specifically. And that's why we saw things like the Eternal Calendar, which is just crazy in terms of watchmaking. And this year, my prediction was that because they focused on that last year, they'd focus on the Engineer this year. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I'm never right, but it looks like I kind of was right this time. The first new Engineer that I actually got hands-on with is the new Engineer that's actually featured in the F1 movie on Brad Pitt's wrist. And anything that's worn by Brad Pitt just looks super sexy. Let's not lie, he's one handsome man. This watch is limited edition and it actually has a green grid pattern dial. And it actually has gold hour markers and hands. Now the gold does give this watch a vintage vibe to it. It gives it kind of a vintage hue, but I am not as keen on how the gold plays against the green dial. I think this would have looked a lot more clean if it was just all in stainless steel, because the body of this watch is in stainless steel also. Now this watch is actually inspired by the prop watch, which is based on a modified version of Gerald Genta's Engineer SL. This watch kind of has the same specs that we know from the Engineer. It comes in at 48mm in diameter, 10.8mm in thickness, is water resistant to 10 bar, comes in full stainless steel, has a butterfly clasp like we know from the Engineer, and it also has the IWC manufactured caliber 32111 with a power reserve of 120 hours. This movement is actually exactly the same movement that we can see in the previous iterations of the Engineer. By the way, guys, I'm actually going to be doing an individual video on each of the watches here, kind of breaking them down into a little bit more detail, because this is quite surface level. If you want to see more detail and specs about each watch, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll be posting them very soon. Next up, we have two models. We have two new Engineer 35mm. And do you remember in my predictions video when I said this? My prediction for IWC is sizing changes, and with the sizing changes, I think they'll bring out a new movement as well. But the sizing changes are where I'm kind of hedging my bets there. Well, turns out I was right. These two new models come in two different metal types. One comes in 18 karat 5N gold, and the other comes in stainless steel. The 18 karat gold watch has a gold dial and the silver watch has a silver dial. They both come in at 35mm in diameter and 9.5mm in thickness. They're water resistant to 10 bar and both feature the caliber 47110 manufactured movement with 42 hours of power. I have to say, guys, when I tried both of these on, they did strike me as quite small, but I was specifically attracted to the gold model. Feeling the heft and weight of that gold, it just honestly was really quite beautiful. Now, I think this is part of IWC's strategy. I think they're going to try to appeal to a wider market. Specifically, I think they're going to try and start appealing to more of a women's market. Because when you look at IWC's marketing at the moment and a lot of IWC's promotional activity, it is centered mostly around men. The next watch that they released is one of my favorites. And the reason that it's one of my favorites is because this is brand new. This has never been done before. This iteration of this model, it didn't exist. It ceased to exist before today, before it was released. This is the new IWC Engineer Perpetual Calendar reference IW34490. 003. This is actually the first stainless steel model to combine the new engineered design with the perpetual calendar. This new model comes in at 41.6 millimeters in diameter, 13.5 millimeters in height, 46.9 millimeters lug to lug. It's water resistant to 10 bar. It has a beautiful blue dial, and actually the color of this is pretty much the same, I would say, from memory, as the other blue dial that was released I'm going to say 6 months ago from now, that was boutique only. It comes in full stainless steel, of course has that butterfly clasp and integrated bracelet, and has the IWC caliber 82600 with 60 hours of power. The perpetual calendar is basically mechanically programmed or engineered to recognize the different month lengths and adds a leap year every 4 years at the end of February, which when you think about it is pretty wild. The next watch they introduced is possibly aesthetically one of my favorites. I think I have 3 favorites. I think I have this one that I'm about to talk about. I have the perpetual calendar because of the new innovation that goes into it. And also I have the final model that I'll talk about, which is a black ceramic model, which is awesome. This is the new IWC Automatic 40 coming in full 18 karat 5N gold. This model has exactly the same specs that we know from the engineer, so let's just cover them really quickly, but we won't dwell on them too much. So it comes in at 40 millimeters in diameter, 10.8 millimeters in thickness, is water resistant to 10 bar, has a black dial, and a full 18 karat 5N gold bracelet and head. The weight to this watch when you have it on the wrist is honestly unbelievable. I think this is probably the most photogenic watch that IWC have ever released. And that's a big statement, but I think it's true. This model again has the same movement that's featured in the other older IWC engineer models. It has the 32111 IWC manufactured movement with a power reserve of 120 hours. And the next watch that we're going to talk about is a unique one. It's an extremely unique one. And actually we're going to do a standalone review of all these watches as I mentioned previously. So if you want to see the standalone reviews in a bit more detail, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. This is the new IWC Engineer 42 in full black ceramic. This model actually features a highly engineered multi-part ceramic case, and it marks the first ceramic translation where the case remains 100% faithful to the original steel design. Now, a lot of the time when brands are releasing fully ceramic watches, they can't do it in the same way that they created the original watch, let's say in stainless steel, because it's just totally different metal components, totally different manufacturing processes. So the fact that this is created in exactly the same way as the go-to design, which is the engineer, is pretty special. There are a couple of different finishes on this model. You have satin finishing, sandblasted finishing, and also polishing. And due to the extreme hardness of this ceramic, the finishing can actually only be achieved with a special diamond tool. This watch comes in at 42 millimeters in diameter, 11.6 millimeters in thickness, is water resistant to 10 bar, comes with a black dial and obviously a black ceramic bracelet and head, has a butterfly clasp, and this watch has the IWC caliber 82110 movement. This is fully automatic and has 60 hours of power. And interestingly enough, we can actually see the same movement in this model that was used in the IWC Aquatimer black dial that we filmed around about a year ago, I think. And that's all from me today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy. We're going to be at Watches and Wonders all week and releasing all the new releases as they come out. So make sure you stay tuned for all the watch news. Follow our Instagram at Chisholm Hunter Watches, or my Instagram at HP Lifelens, or our podcast, the Into the Mind Podcast. And I'll see you guys real soon.